All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. I hope you're all having a wonderful time zone. Welcome, the Aaron, Handstands, Leah, Taz, Lilith, and whoever else may be around. Hope you're all doing excellently. I'm doing excellently. It's a bit of a grey day out here today, which is honestly kind of nice for streaming. Don't really want to feel like you're missing out on... Hang on. You weren't missing out on my background audio for a sec, but don't want to feel like you're missing out on anything because of, you know, taking some time out to stream for you all. But I'm not losing anything by not being out there in the weather at the moment. So that's always nice. Also, it's not too hot, which is, as we roll into summer here in this half of the world, it's been heating up at a pace that I'm not thrilled about. I'm not a summer person. I prefer my temperatures to be cool and manageable. I mean, you know, it's the simple fact of you can put more clothes on, but at a certain point you run out of clothes to take off. Welcome in, Ikuyo. Welcome. Good to see you again. I still love that curly brace emote. It's a really good one. Yeah, I had so much fun with the Cave Story Rando last week. Well, I guess still technically the current week, depending on how you define your weekend. If you're a week starts on Monday or a week starts on Sunday type of person. Had to see it happen, so you commissioned a friend for it. That's what friends are for. That's what commissions are for also. A very worthy endeavor. I used to be a week starts on Sunday type of person, but now I'm strictly a week starts on Monday person. I don't know when in my life that change rolled over. Probably once I got old enough to actually care about having to schedule things for myself, to be quite honest. I feel like that was probably the exact tipping point once it was something that I actually had to care about materially in my day-to-day life. When I had to look at my own year planner and decide when a week started. I think it's largely a regionalism as well. Like, there are some parts of the world where it's more Sunday week starts or Monday week starts. I think there's... Are there truly wild places? Calendar week starts on Sunday, but the week starts on Monday. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously the work week starts on Monday, so, you know, that... Maybe that was when what tipped it over for me. Hard to say. It's one of those things that just kind of becomes something that is just an assumption in your mind that is just part of your worldview, and you don't, and you don't challenge it or interrogate it really ever. And like, it's not like it's a big deal. It's not like there is cultural hegemony being, come on, being upheld by, I added the loot bug. Finally. I finally got around to figuring out how you put sounds on the throwables, and I put the loot bug in. I need to circle back to some of the previous throwables I added to add appropriate sounds to them, but it's really... I had a lot of trouble, having trouble, finding just the tink, just like the collision sound of the Pokeball. Like, you can find like every other whack sound a Pokeball has ever made, but just I couldn't isolate just the dunk dunk, like that would be appropriate for a collision. Because you're not catching me in it. Like, also the like Pokeball like release sound from the anime is so long. It's like a 30-second long sound. It is unreasonable when you factor in like the full like decay on it. But yeah, you know, I need an appropriately plush thud for the substitute. I need a meaty thwack for the meat on bone. The anime Reggie's sound, yeah, just like. I can't even make those noises because I am but a person and not some kind of animated construct from time immemorial. I feel like it's kind of come and went and had its day, but when the Sun and Moon arc of the anime was airing, was I think it's one of the Ultra Beasts is called Guzzlord. And in the original Japanese audio track of that, all the sound effects for it are just a guy screaming. Emma's favorite Ultra Beast, it has good taste. The sound in the anime is just a dude just going, ah! Ah! Rando, welcome in, Adam. Hope you're well this time zone. Yes, indeed, it is again the Cave Story Rando. I had such a good time playing it earlier in the week / last week, again, depending where you define your weeks. I had a really good time with it, and I want to try it out more. I didn't mess with the settings too much from the basic starter preset because I still have a relatively limited amount of time, and I don't want to run too long. Welcome in, Ramses. The only major change I made, as indicated by my stream title, is I did tick the option or untick the option where the puppies in the sand zone by default only randomized within the sand zone, which there are a limited number of possible checks in the sand zone, and I think the vast majority of the checks in the sand zone are already puppies in the vanilla game. So just to add a little bit of a bit more chaos into the mix, they have now been scrambled as logic determines they are able to be placed anywhere in the game. I mean, again, not strictly anywhere, because again, only locations where they can be feasibly attained in order to reap whatever rewards within logic as a result. But you know, relatively speaking, a bit more chaotic in that way. But I suppose I shouldn't dawdle any longer. I suppose I should get myself comfortable in my gaming reserve. Logic tries its best. Yeah. Fade down my music. Let's start up my video game. Let me get comfortable over here. I am going to need to adjust the volume down on this before it... Ah! That's not the right thing to turn down. Where are you at? That's a bit more like it. Cave story jump scare, exactly. Who could have foreseen this? Alright, let me know how the volume is now that I've adjusted it. I've about halved it just over on the button here. Not button, it's not really a button at all. I don't know why I said it like that. Again, for whatever reason, the title screen music is way louder than like most of the game, so if this is at an appropriate level where you can hear me over it, then that's probably good. But if I need to turn it down further, let me know. Obviously, I would like to adjust it so that we can all have a good time here. And not blow out anyone's ears, least of all mine. But I need to hit this button so that I can use my D-pad. I sound good compared to the game? Excellent. Map system and the Nikimaru counter to start us off. Those are the default presets, default items, because the map system is always handy to have, and the Nikimaru counter, strictly speaking, doesn't matter for anything. Got the missile launcher. Interesting start. May still get the Polar Star in here because I think by default the logic doesn't ever expect you to break. Oh, the blade. That's very interesting start. I have got firepower to spare to begin the game here. The default logic, so the randomizer for this is pretty cool in that it lets you specify in when generating a seed, it lets you specify in detail what tricks you are willing to let be factored into logic. So by default, it doesn't expect any quote-unquote tricks of you. And you would, any amount of knowledge that you could complete the vanilla game with should be sufficient to take on the logical progression. But if you want to spice things up, you can say, okay, I know how to do, you know, some damage boosts. And there's like, there's like usually one or two different sort of gradations of each given trick, of its complexity. For damage boosting, there's like 6. Silver Locket, so that opens up the Toriko and the Balrog fight, and also opens up the graveyard after I do that. Yeah, the customization options are pretty granular. So yeah, if you're like, oh, I can do some really basic damage boosts, but nothing too fancy, you can say, well, make it so that it's possible for some damage boosts to be in logic. Anyway, there is a specific option also for whether or not breaking the breakable blocks with the missile launcher should be considered in logic. So certain weapons can break the breakable blocks, certain weapons can't. The default Polar Star, of course, can. The missile launcher can break them, but you have limited ammunition for the missile launcher. So it is a slightly more something that would need consideration in logic as to whether you could get yourself into it. I don't know if you could get yourself into a situation where you would not be able to replenish your missiles, but either way, it would still be something that could throw up a stumbling block, which is why it's an option in there. I haven't selected that option. If I had, I may not have gotten the blade in there. I need to heal actually with my whole 1 HP. Yeah, the customization options are pretty granular, which I think is cool. Wait, I have to... Well, I don't have to go to the reservoir, but I'm already on this side of the map. I may as well go do the graveyard checks. Which I remember now that Mr. Little here is a check in the graveyard. Got a life capsule, that's good, I'm glad. That was maybe the most concerning part of the previous rando, was how long it took me to get a life capsule. Vanilla Arthur key. Interesting. I mean, I guess with the Arthur key, there's a pretty limited number of possibilities, since Arthur's house is the hub from which most of the game opens up with the teleporter in there, so not a lot of possibilities. And the clay figure medal, which is, as I noticed poking around the settings, strictly useless. The clay figure medal is usually in vanilla the reward for beating the red ogre, I think is its technical name, in the true version of the last cave, on your way to the final boss fight. Well, in the absence of any more interesting progression items, let's head to the egg corridor to knock out some easy checks. Like seeds that start inside Arthur's house without the key, that can be interesting. Yeah, it seems like it would be an interesting possibility. It would open some stuff up. I will look at the possibilities of other starting locations. Because I think, again, the like basic starter preset, the Hajime, can be found in Grasstown. Hajime is one of the puppies, I believe, yeah. It happens the door is locked from the inside, right? So you would have to find Arthur's key in one of the accessible areas to do your village checks. Whoa, that was close. Polar Star, nice to have. I kind of like just having the blade. The thing about the blade is that it has some of the most ridiculous damage output in the game. Slightly less so with the level 3 blade, though it's still pretty crazy, especially if you got multiple targets. But at the level 2, because of the fact that it moves very quickly and you can throw it as fast as it despawns on hit, you can absolutely unload, and it does like 15 damage a hit, or like 12 mushroom badges in Grasstown. Cool. The blade does a truly absurd amount of damage per hit, especially in earlier game than you're expected to have it, because usually you wouldn't get that until end of Sand Zone, which is maybe half, 2/3 of the way through vanilla. I'm really bad at judging how long into a game, any given game, any particular part of it is. I am the worst how long to beat metric in the world. I'm like, yeah, you're probably about halfway. And it's like, oh, you're at the end of the game actually, or it's like, yeah, you're probably about 2/3 of the way through, and it's like, no, you've got more game left to do than you had. Been more game ahead of you than you've played. Like, I just have zero sense of that is not what I wanted to do. Need to take another big sip of coffee. Welcome in, Kev. I feel like you almost never get to hear the death jingle because you just mash straight on through. I've died. It happens to the best of us. Thankfully it's not too far back to go, though I do still need to pop up here and get whatever was in this check that I've already forgotten. So it can't have been that. No, I don't. Wait. Never mind, I guess. Oh, it was the tow rope was in there. I remember now. Not necessarily a strictly very interesting progression item. Hence my four. Chat, hope you're well this time zone. This thing along the bottom is currently the #1 killer of me. Cure-all, which cures Curly in the labyrinth. Just mean whenever I go to the labyrinth, anyway, it lets me progress into the latter half, as Curly's recovery enables her to move the boulder with us. Not that either Quote or Curly actually does a whole lot of boulder moving. Pre-graphics arts death screen, yeah, it's just flat text, no adornment. The snake, oh, it's a snake. We got a pretty good arsenal between our various weapons so far. I should probably, I'm not too concerned with leveling that up. Badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom. Return from the land of muted. How goes the rando? It's off to a fine start. Got a lot of weaponry early on, which is always neat. I don't know why I've kept walking in this direction, because I can't actually open the, without the ID card yet, I can't progress further in the egg corridor. I need the ID card to open up the barrier to the end of the egg corridor and rescue Sue, which I'm told, I've learned, is one of the only mandatory boss fights in the normal ending rando progression. Apart from the final boss gauntlet, which of course is required. But outside of that, it is possible to simply not have to do just about any other boss. You're more than likely going to have to fight at least a couple, because of the nature of checks, but still. Now I know that the Archipelago Multi-World randomizer has support for randomizing the original Doom. You would probably need to do significant work to let it randomize Check's quest, right? Which is something that comes to mind only because of the incredibly stupid pun. Which is to say, are not all randomizers their own Check's quest? So where to from now? I mean, I could just sort of bop through all the teleporter locations in vanilla order and just see what initial checks I can bang out. Which I might do, honestly. Just hit them all early. I can't go to Plantation until I have the teleporter room key. I know it's a strict limit on where I can be. I forgot that you can't just jump straight up there. That's a thing you have to do. Shinobu is in Grasstown. Is Shinobu also a dog? How many of these dogs are in Grasstown? I'm glad I have a real weapon here. Though I would like to have the fireball. I think that's a very understated bit of good, solid, clever game design. That Santa gives you the fireball as you go into Grasstown here. Iron Bond, which, as I understand, is necessary to open up the best ending. As the vanilla end of the rescuing Curly progression chain. Puppies are Hajime, Kakeru, Miknene, and Shinobu. Excellent names for dogs all. I basically assume any item that is the name of that is a name and not an object is probably a puppy. I got a nothing! Yay! There's 2 nothings in the item pool by in the default starter preset here. Being the checks that would have been the map system and the Nikimaru counter, which are the 2 items it gives you for a vanilla, well, not a vanilla start, but for this start. I can't actually do anything else in here without the booster to get out of there and Chaco skip, which, I mean, I'm not actually sure what Chaco skip is. I'm presuming that it's not in logic by default. I don't know how to do it if I did, so... yeah, it's not, yeah. So lacking the jellyfish juice to go through Chaco's fireplace, or the booster to simply loop over. I gotta get out of here. Somewhat advanced damage boost, yeah. I think... I forget if that one's in the tool-assisted run. Which, I know I plugged it last time I played this. I will say again, the tool-assisted speedrun of Cave Story is one of the all-timers. Well, there wasn't actually a whole lot I could do out in Grasstown. Let's move along to the sand zone. I can fight myself. I also strictly recommend if you do... It's me! Colonel, it's me. I'm fighting myself. I do recommend if you watch the Cave Story tool-assisted speedrun on YouTube that you turn on the closed captions for the commentary track, which provides a really solid explanation of a lot of the different tricks that are being done, which I think is always useful for a tool-assisted speedrun. I feel like sometimes you just kind of look at it as just like wizard shit happening and you don't gain any understanding. I mean, usually you can look at the author comments if you really need to, you want to try and decode it, but it's very enlightening. Anyway, the damage output on the blade here makes milk's meat of poor Curly. Line up 2 bats, jump into one, open the inventory to reset invincibility frames, that's how you know it's good. Get hit by another one, and make it to the platform outside Chaco's house, skipping the need to get one of the jellyfish juice. Got a puppy. That's the vanilla puppy, I'm pretty sure. I think that's... must be guaranteed, I reckon. And there would normally be another puppy here, but instead it's missiles. Also, normally there would be a lascivious object hidden in the wall here. But instead it's a life capsule. So you can feel less weird about... Most important check in the game, underwear. Second most important check in the game. Underwear by Toby Fox. Yeah, exactly. That's what's missing from indie games these days, is some good old-fashioned pervert shit. I think more games need secrets that are like not objectionable, but just a little bit. Why did you put this one in here? Boost 0.8, that's nice. Now I have movement options. It's easy to, I mean, the movement in this game is good no matter what, but once you start getting either of the boosters, you really appreciate it. Speedrun in the Cave Story for underwear present? Yeah. And nowadays you have to go read their Twitter to get all that? Yeah, exactly. Not the same. No good, wholesome, found peaches, question mark, question mark, question mark. Come back here, I don't want you flying around making a mess of things. as I was briefly distracted from the rando by default makes the two different boosters into progressive items, so you always find the 0.8 check, 0.8 first, and then a subsequent booster check will make it the 2.0, which is a neat way to handle it. Oh, yeah, Cave Story leaderboard speedrun percent for underwear percent. Yeah, that makes sense. You gotta have, if you're going to speedrun a game, I feel like you've got to have at least one good solid joke category. As you are noticing, the blade absolutely vaporizes Omega here. Of course, with your more popular games, you end up with a preponderance of joke categories of varying levels of amusement. You blinked, can you do it again? Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, I only get one shot to destroy that. 9600 exit, that sounds good. My personal favorite Super Mario World joke categories are In the Six, which is mostly a standard 11 exit speedrun, except once you get to Bowser's Castle, you have to clip into the concrete block 6, marking the 6th door. And once you have successfully clipped inside that, that's time. And the even goofier category in A6, which merely requires you to clip inside any 6-shaped arrangement of blocks, which I believe the fastest place to do that is to duplicate spin blocks in Yoshi Island 2 and get yourself stuck in those. It's very funny to me. Latent speedrun leaderboards, we're considering nice percent for all games. Get to puzzle 69 and solve it. That's pretty good. Latent speedrunning already sounds kind of funny. Like, I mean, you can speedrun any game. Like, there's skill involved. But just conceptually, speedrunning Latent is very amusing to me. What's in these checks? Girlie's panties. There they are. And another puppy. Again, that's a vanilla puppy location, I'm pretty sure, so... Food percent? Good grief, food percent. Food percent's like almost too much of a meme. Like... It's too outlandish to really have validity. Held world records for some of the latent games. Surprisingly interesting. Yeah, I'm sure there's always something, I feel like. If there wasn't, then I guess people wouldn't bother. I guess I'm gonna keep rolling through the sand zone here, even though there is no guarantee that the items I receive will in fact be puppies. There could be all manner of things lurking in the desert. But I guess the fact that they could have been puppies means there's a few checks for me to knock out here. Yeah, most games basically have no breathing room, yeah, and you gotta have your puzzle execution down. Yes, now, well, we were already cooking, but now we have one of the few guns in this game with even more ridiculous damage output than the blade. Yeah, it seems weirdly execution heavy. In the 6, where you have to do it in 2-player competitive mode and both players need to be individual humans. That sounds difficult to organize. And I mean, you say for some reason, and it's like, I know the reason. It's because Super Mario World route runners are perverts. Also, I want to be clear, when I say that, I mean that in the most positive association possible. We support harmless forms of perversion in this stream. Sicko is affectionate, exactly. Oh, it's nice to get another life capsule, always, frankly. Usually this game is pretty generous about the way it doles out its life capsules, which means that once those checks are shuffled, it is possible to get yourself into situations where your survivability is very low relative to the DPS output of... Favorite joke category in anything you've run is New Game plus Cave Story 3D. Now that I don't know enough about Cave Story 3D to speak on. Cave Story 3D I installed once as a curiosity. I was like, I don't love looking at this, to be honest. World record is 46 seconds, 45 of which is a normal ending sequence. Is this because of how very broken Cave Story 3D, I'm told, is? So 1 second of actual time, execution time. Incredible. Cave Story 3D had a sick OST? I believe that. I haven't actually given it a proper listen. That's about where the praise ends for you? Yeah. Like, if you really want to play Cave Story on the 3DS, there's already the eShop version, which is just the DSiWare version, basically, but that's a perfectly functional port of that game. The weird fact that always gets me is that Cave Story 3D was published by like Nippon Ichisoft or something for some reason. SGDQ reverse boss order for Cave Story 3D? That sounds pretty good. How does reverse boss order work with... I guess I should watch and find out, huh? I'm like, it seems difficult to do the end bosses before the other bosses. But I guess that's kind of always the thing with reverse boss order, now that I think about it. That's how most games work. Alright, we've done our sand zone intermission here. Reverse boss order for Link to the Past? Yeah, that sounds like it would have to be strange. Super Metroid? Yeah, I'm dead core to Balrog 1, yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Then clears Hell and Balos, okay. Still... That sounds odd. I'm glad we're just going to have Puppy on our head for the rest of the, for a significant amount of the remainder of the run here. Alright, now that I have the booster, I can go do right half of Grasstown checks. That's probably where I should head next. That too, but it's like the Mega Mask that you can't unequip. It is very funny that the dog does not know how to teleport, because in the vanilla game you would of course not be teleporting with a dog on your head. Surely you would just be finishing the sand zone like normal. Teleportation is very advanced for a dog. We're just taking them on a sightseeing tour for fun. Anyway, let's simply leap over Shaco's inopportunely placed house. Now, I'm going to guess she didn't build it, so she's not really to blame, but what if she did? Maybe that's her plan. Maybe she demands that adventurers go through a fireplace to get to the other side of Grasstown, and that's her ploy to sleep with them. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit Machiavellian to ascribe to her. Yeah, dogs just warp around. They're just wherever. It's fine. So I would need the rusty key to get into the power room there. There's a few free checks around. Mushroom badge, cool. So I can go do the Marmignon check. At some point. A third puppy. You don't see the dude in the parking booth at the London Zoo? Interesting. I can't hold that and open that up. Sorry, dude. Clinic key means I can do the Poo Black fight and get a check in Labyrinth. What's in the execution chamber? This is Curly, and you've reached the execution chamber. Execution chamber, execution chamber. Life capsule. That's vanilla, I'm pretty sure. Although it may not be the specific vanilla life capsule. You can't open up this chest until you have the rusty key, because it's the item you would get from... So the check you get from looking at the crack and talking to Kazuma would normally be the rusty key, and then you would try the rusty key on the door, and then you would realize it doesn't open that one, and then you would go and use the rusty key in the power room, and then you would come back once you talked to Malco, and he would give you the gum-based key, Kazuma would. But I don't have the gum-based key. Would like to save though. What wisdom have you for me? A major item is hidden in the Labyrinth shop. That's a little bit yucky, but I guess I can check that out. I forget where the Labyrinth teleporter actually comes in. Oh right, it comes in a place where Booster falls. So technically you can't do Labyrinth from Arthur's house until you have at least the booster 0.8 to get out of there. Which does mean I'm eligible to go check out the Labyrinth. Which is my next port of call, having exhausted the open Grasstown checks, I believe. With the starter settings here, Monster X with Spare and Blade, yeah, I can kick Monster X's ass for sure. Blade's usually my go-to weapon for Monster X anyway, just because the area DPS on that is really good for taking out all the little bits and bobs he shoots at you. Around the parking booth for like 30 years. Zeus sent an email to the city gov asking when they were going to send a new guy, and yeah, he was just running an illegitimate parking booth. Incredible, incredible grifts. Just absolutely fantastic level of ingenuity and commitment to the craft, man. If you turn up and act like you're supposed to be there, no one asks questions. Alright, Labyrinth is now where we have to be. So we could have gotten this, there's just a free check lying here without, even without the booster, huh? Interesting. Super missiles. Cool. We are very armed and very dangerous. Yeah, I remember the London Zoo toll booth guy. You really have to admire. Just like, there's just like a certain level of just like mostly harmless grift. But like in the grand scheme of things, you know, if you were going to the London Zoo, you could probably afford a couple bucks for this guy, you know. It's not like anyone, you know, couldn't put food on the table because they were paying out the zoo parking booth guy. The thing that I'm pretty sure is true about most bosses in this game, which is not unique to this game, but a lot of them have very I mean, a lot of bosses in this game are very cycle-based, and a lot of them will end cycles earlier than usual, just once they take just like a set amount of damage. I know it's true for the Misery fight, is probably the one that comes up most in vanilla play. But as you can see, Monster X there was almost certainly advancing phases, going through cycles based on just, you've done enough damage, I'm gonna get on with it. Go use some commentaries for Amber's run? Yeah, have fun, thanks for dropping by. Hope it goes well for it. I believe Amber is taking in the really, really long haul. Or a different, one of those speedrun marathons, I forget. Apologies. Let me go get the, what would have been the arms barrier check up here as well. I can actually bang out a whole bunch of checks around here now that I've got the clinic key and the cure-all. You would usually give me the clinic key, so you'll give me something else. ID card, that's good. The ID card is again, a strictly necessary progression item because, as mentioned, you need to do the Igor fight in the egg corridor. It is, again, like the mandatory boss fight in the normal ending mode. Is there a setting that, like, specifically, like, is it like the, I mean, obviously, the expert here is just left, but I wonder if there's a setting for just, like, the absolute bare minimum damage boosting logic, where it literally just enables the logic for this one check, because it's the only damage boost I will ever do in vanilla, is, if you boost off this little purple guy there, is how you can get into that chest just there without having the booster or the machine gun. I haven't needed the boost, yeah. I don't believe that in vanilla, well, not in the no tricks logic, it would give you the boost before it expects you to get that chest. I'm just wondering if it's possible to set a setting that's like, don't expect me to do any other damage boosts in the entire game, but specifically just expect that one potentially as being within logic. Wow, I only have 5 health left. I really just tanked a bunch of hits in that fight, huh? Let me run on in here where I can get a health refill. Looks like the medicine's working. Yeah, she's gone. Medicine done worked, my friend. My doppelganger has left the building. Anyway, I understand there's a key item here in the labyrinth shop, which hopefully, if I'm lucky, is the item that he gives you for having the spur. Which in vanilla would be the what's the name? It's the like adjective star, whimsical star. It's a very goofy name. I can open up this check, the rusty key. Hey, that is a key item. I like to have that one. Where does this teleporter go again? Other half of Labyrinth? I think it does. Yeah, literal key item. That's one of my favorite little quality of life changes in the rando here. Is when you open up your inventory at a certain point, if you have enough different keys, they just all take up the same slot in there on your keyring. I only have one key, actually. Wait, I have multiple keys. I guess I use the clinic key, so I don't technically have it anymore. Rat jam, indeed. While I'm in the vicinity, let's go all the way back here and get the couple checks. I probably don't need to go all the way back here for these checks, but... Song in 3D is like turbo disco, hell yeah. Probably going to attempt to sleep. You fucked up your schedule all weekend and somehow tired right now? Yeah, go get some rest, Kev. Thanks for dropping by. I don't know if you know, Adam, is the 3D version of the OST included in any of the Plus versions? Because I know the Plus releases include a couple different soundtracks. See you in the morning. Yeah, take care. Plus version on Steam has it. I usually play the Plus version on Steam with the like quote remastered music, which is like close to the original mostly. What were you saying? The Kakaru is hidden in Sand Zone Residence? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have him. The explosive is hidden in Sand Zone. Interesting. You're just too dead to tell me anything, actually. So, if the explosive is hidden in Sand Zone, the only things I have left to get in Sand Zone are post the puppy checks. So if I need the explosive, I will need to have the pupper. That's good to know. It's good to remember. Please don't hurt me. Got a fourth puppy. Glad I came back here then. I've learned. I may learn it. Ooh. Ah. Oh, I'm bungling it. Ugh. Oops. Just let me hit this to open the door. Back the other way. Not that it really matters, because I'm just going to take this teleporter down here, probably. Actually, am I going to take this teleporter? Trying to decide. Yeah, it's probably faster to go on a sleep to hook back through Sand Zone. Also, it at least lets me heal before I do too. Hook back through Sand Zone to get to the teleporter, which I'm actually going to do momentarily. I gotta take a moment to stand up, freshen up. I've been going for about an hour. It's probably about time I did that. You'll take a have a stretch, stand up, have a drink or something. I'll be back with y'all in a moment. Alright, I return. I hope you're all feeling a little more stretched and rested. Let's get back to business though. Let's return to randomizing. Spur is very nice to have when you're just clearing out this cloud of parrots here. There's no messing around, no having them fly back in your face because you didn't quite finish the job the first time. You just get going. Oops. Now they do a lot of contact damage on those things, huh? Yeah, I've really been enjoying this rando for... To me, it's kind of a more cozy, manageable rando experience than like A Link to the Past. Like, I've been enjoying doing the Link to the Past seeds mostly, with rare exception. But like Link to the Past seeds are much more of a puzzle to me. Like there's a lot. Like there's a reason that the Link to the Past randomizer is kind of the gold standard of like competitive randomizers. Like, in my opinion anyway. Like it's a very particular experience that has a very high skill ceiling. That isn't strictly execution based. Like routing that out is, because of the way Link to the Past is built, is a very interesting puzzle. Whereas with these, and I think it's part of the nature of Cave Story in general, as well as the fact that I've kind of got all the guardrails settings still on the rando. It's a bit more linear even for a randomizer, I think. Which is fine by me. It means that it's not too overwhelming. I'm gonna go do the Marmignon fight just while I'm thinking about it. Keeps them from being too overwhelming. And it still provides enough variance that it is still like a very fresh twist on playing a game that I already love and have played very many times before. Just moves things around enough for me to just only for people with amnesia gets me every time. Very funny dialogue. Fighting Marmignon with the spur is already not unusual. I win. I get a life capsule out of it. Thanks, Ma. Right. Next port of call is... Actually, what do we have opened up now? Oh, the Rusty Key, right. We can go do a few more Grasstown checks. I was trying to remember what I just got. Yeah, it feels very... a bit more on rails in that way. But again, not in a way that I'm complaining about. It's still a fun way to re-experience the game. Oh, poor Santa. glad... I'm glad that it is physically impossible for me to lock myself out of my apartment. The way the locks are arranged is such that I could not... Like, I have to turnkey from the outside to lock my doors once I go through them. There is no way for me to end up outside with the door locked without having a key. Not that it's a common, I mean, for that very same reason, it's not common for me to leave the house without a key. But I feel like if it was possible, I feel like I would do that. I've done that at least once by now. I feel like it surely would have happened. Now, it wouldn't be the end of the world if it did, as I do have a spare key with someone I trust, which I could access if necessary, but as it stands, I am glad that, that there is no circumstance in which I will have to bother them for it. Alright, rusty key, open this thing. Power room, hi Malco. Sorry for what I'm about to do to you. Or I guess what Balrog's about to do to you, but... Commence destruction of you! Huzzah! Wow, you're really booking it over to the other end of the room there, huh, Balrog? Not an issue due to the spur. Again, we're pretty thoroughly overpowered for just about any boss short of the core there. What do you have for me? All you know how to do is make the controller, right? So I do need to finish your quest arc, as it were, for this. Interesting. This may take me a little longer than last week's did. Though who knows? The controller is one of the items I need to assemble the rocket in the plantation, thereby making it effectively a go mode item, I believe. I'm pretty sure you can't get into the last cave and final boss gauntlet without the rocket. I got the last puppy, which I can use to blow this door open. So I will, because there's no more checks I can do in Grasstown at the moment. I think letting it shuffle the puppies was the right move. I think it hasn't overburdened me in terms of the added complexity, but it's just shuffled things up enough to open some interesting logical twists. Keep it from just making the sand zone like, if you just let it randomize the puppies in the sand zone, then, like, you can basically are guaranteed to be able to just go in and full clear the sound zone. For better or worse. Like, I'm trying to think if there's, like, any other checks against items in the sand zone, like... Because really not. The sand zone is a pretty open and shut progression in vanilla, actually. You go there, you get the puppies, you fight a Mega, then you get the puppies. And then that's it. Now that I have all the puppies though, back to the sand zone. I'm gonna have to go do the poor Toriko fights. Oops, get out of there. Because, I mean, that's kind of the thing with K-Story in general, is that this randomizer really does make it much more of a Metroidvania in terms of progression, in terms of actually having to ever really backtrack. Got a life capsule off here? Yeah, cool. Wait, I should save before I exit the house. That's a pretty good, decent life capsule count at this point. Like, in vanilla, the actual amount of times outside of having to run back and forth in Grass Town, apart from moving back and forth within areas, there are very few times in Vanilla Cave Story where you're actually expected to backtrack with new abilities. Like, I'm literally trying to think of the number of times that you do. There's like maybe 3 checks that you open up in previous areas with later abilities, and like none of them are mandatory. It's like, so like, let's see, there's the arms barrier chest in the labyrinth, which you can get by damage boosting even if you haven't actually got the booster, so you can get that on an initial pass with mild logic breaking. I guess there's some of the items that you can get off the labyrinth shopkeep, like the Whimsical Star. And the Whimsical Star is really the only one of those that you need to backtrack to get. Otherwise, you just either have the check weapons or you don't. Oh, I thought you were active already, Toriko. Hey, I actually got hit by that one. Those blocks hurt like hell, is the thing. They do like 10 damage a pop. If you don't want to get hit by those blocks. Not too big a deal, because of course, spur damage output, but... Sorry, Toriko. You were doomed from the start. What do you got for me, King? You must have the explosive. Which is a very funny thing for King to give you after saying, will you avenge me? Hi, Balrog. I know you're gonna dump me in the labyrinth. That's fine. It's labyrinth time for you. Teleport to the labyrinth. Alright, let me teleport back immediately, actually. Sorry, Misery. I did, glancing through the possible characters that you can choose to play as, did think about going with the Misery sprite instead of the Curly sprite. But I like the Curly sprite better, honestly. Like, I love Misery, but... The main problem I have with the additional sprites that aren't Curly is They make choices around the Mimiga Mask sprite that I don't always agree with. Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cute that Sue's Mimiga Mask sprite is human Sue, but... And this is going to be the pettiest possible complaint I could make. It doesn't make sense in the lore. The whole point is that you need to be disguised as a Mimiga. If you're disguising as a human, then why would the Mimiga speak to you? My immersion is ruined. I mean, it's whatever. Like, it's not even guaranteed that you'll even need that item. It's not requisite at all. It's... And of course, you only actually need to have it on for, like, 2 checks. Like... It is mostly a cute aesthetic, fun fact. Not fun fact? How is that a fun fact? Why was I going to say a fun fact? An aesthetic Easter egg, a fun bit and or piece. And Misery's Mimiga Mask form is... Why can I just not have the bubbler? Why would I want to... I mean... I guess I don't really need to have the bubbler on me. That's just one more weapon for me to tab back and forth through. I understand now, actually. It's not strictly necessary for it to have that possibility, but... it does no harm. So I'm guessing that by using the explosive, I must unlock the jellyfish juice? Because I feel like... Or Santa's house key, which would then unlock vanilla jellyfish juice, potentially. I'm just trying to think, like, how much logic can there be left? Do I get a check out of doing the Igor fight now that I have the ID card? I don't think I do. I think I will need to do that before too long just to meet that requirement, but don't think it's required for any checks per se. Anyway, let's blow up a door. Hey guys. Let's go crash a bike. Very destructive part of the this year. Great work, guys. This also gives me a teleport to Plantation. Aha. That also opens up some other possibilities. Actually, Dr. Dumb can go screw himself. You said it. In fact, I think it opens up more checks here than anything... I don't think actually freeing Kazuma in itself opens up any checks. Progression-wise, got the broken sprinkler. Do I need the Mimiga Mask to trade that in here? Yeah, I think I need the Mimiga Mask to open this chest with the broken sprinkler. No, wait. No, wait, that's where I would get the broken sprinkler and then I would turn it in here. Do I still need the Mimiga Mask to do the turn in here? Yeah, okay. With the Mimiga Mask and the broken sprinkler, I can turn in a check that would normally give me the working sprinkler. Can't go down and visit no more in yet, since we don't have the password. Litigano Motscout. I understand why they don't. It would be cute if it randomized the password just as a flavor piece. What can I do around here at the moment? Well, I can talk to you and get a hint. An Omega Mask can be found in Grasstown. Oh, that's an interesting. Wait, hang on. Is that the gum key reward then? Because I know that, or maybe it's in... There's only a few checks left in Grasstown at this point, and I know that, that Malco's reward is the controller. What's in the bucket, my friend? Missile upgrade. That's not super interesting. And I don't have the teleporter room key here. It says no entry, and it's locked. Very funny piece of dialogue there. That is very easy to not see. There's only a handful of checks left in Grasstown, being, as I said, the controller, which we would get off Malco once we have all the bits and pieces. I could check out a wall. I may have to, in fact, at this point. Yeah, there's only a few checks left in Grasstown, and most of them are locked behind various things. Hell yeah. Tunes. So, in terms of checks here, it's just the Nicomaru counter, right? Or where would be the Nicomaru counter in vanilla? I believe is the only... And what a good tune. Clock room. I saved Kazuma, I can check Ruined Corridor. I didn't know that was what opened up. Santa's Key. That is also good to have. Cool. Do I have to go this way to get to Ruined Corridor, or do I go there from, or can I go there from Arthur's house now? And go back down, right. Hi, Kazuma. I don't have Mr. Little though, so I can't do the under the wall check. You save here. Sorry, dragons. Life capsule? Okay. Sisters fight. I don't do this fight a lot in vanilla because usually this is a missile chest upgrade and I'm usually just skipping missiles anyway, so there's simply no reason for me to have to fight the sisters. Not that it's a difficult fight if you've got the spur. Well, probably if you don't either, but... Sorry, sisters. Yeah, that save point. DLC boss, a little bit. Oops, I really thought that would have done enough damage to kill you. Guess I need the full charge for that. Hello. I will simply not, thank you. Just leave. Hit the bricks. I would like to not take a whole heap of damage here. Whoops. Oh no. I'm in a precarious situation life-wise. I'm going to be very cautious around these spikes. Whew, that was a hairy little jump there, huh? Heaven forbid you hold that a moment longer than you need to. Ah, there's another check here too, I see. That could have worked real bad for me. I got nothing. Ow. That's alright. I'm already heading back through this way anyway. Let's do 5 contact damage, huh? Well, maybe this time I'll try not to get hit by everything and its dog on the way out. Failed step 1. Out of the way. Any of you guys got any health drops for me? Just a crumb of health or two? I might appreciate that if you had those in my vicinity. At least I'm not one hit away from death right now, but still closer than I would like to be. Ah! It really is easy to hit that. At least there's one heart hidden in the wall that I can waste by popping myself into the spikes. Well, at least this time I don't have to waste time checking the nothing. Because I know in advance that it is nothing. Let's play it just a smidgen safer down here. Oops. But not that safe. What clue do you have? A weapon is in rest area. Okay. Unremarkable. Anyway, now that I have Arthur's key, back to Grasstown we go to let poor, not Arthur, Santa's key. Let poor Santa back into his house. And get whatever he would give me instead of the fireball. I like that Santa's just stood here and watched these dinguses crash their bike into this. Just like, one of those days. Letting Santa in means that I can now go talk to Chaco. Get the check off her. Most important check in the game, tied with Curly's panties. It's the sleep with Chaco check. That should also be something you can set in the, I mean, it shouldn't be an option you have in the rando settings, but you kind of should have an option that's like, make it so that the sleeping with Chaco check is mandatory for progression. Make sure logic includes this check. Nemesis. Interesting. I would not like to trade for the Nemesis. I much prefer having the blade on me. But also I can now go get the, check off the jellyfish. Which I have a... I mean, I guess we'll see what it is. I'm like, could this theoretically be vanilla jellyfish juice? It could be, but it could also not. A lot of things it could be for sure. Could be all manner of things. Nope, Mega Mask. Interesting, interesting. So that's back on to Plantation to speak with some Mimigay. I mean, I know that the plural of Mimigas is Mimigas, but I feel like that should be like an A plural, Mimigay. And you would get to say gay more often, so... always useful. Mimigay, exactly. Mimigains, yeah, that's when you get swole. As a Mimiga, obviously. That's what happened to Igor, yeah, exactly. A little too much. A little too much for poor Igor. Whomst we are going over to go beat up on while I'm remembering that that's something that I need to do. I don't think there's any checks off it, but it is something I gotta get done. Oh, Toriko. Poor Toriko. Poor Igor too, but you feel less for him because you didn't know him before. Hi, welcome in, Koja and friends. Hope you're all doing well. Animal Crossing New Horizons all month. Hope you're having a cozy time with that. Sounds delightful. Sounds like a lovely way to get into the holiday spirit, as it were. Just a real cozy vibes with that. Welcome in. Animal Crossing fun, yeah. I've never been a huge Animal Crossing gal, but I have at various times enjoyed the time I spent with New Leaf and New Horizons. You got 2 tabs of me now, Lilith. Double in stereo. How exciting. Shut your brain off and you're gonna need it for this month? Well, sorry to hear it's gonna be a rough month for you, but hopefully with some good friends and some animal buddies, you can stick it out. But welcome on in. Hope you can keep having a comfy time over here. As you may be able to see, we're in the middle of a cave story randomizer. How's the rando been? It's been good. It hasn't been too brutal, but it has opened, I think it's been a little bit more involved than last one. The only major setting I've changed is normally under the starter preset and the kind of, you know, beginnery settings. Usually the puppies, which you would trade in the sand zone, are all only randomized within the sand zone, which makes sense in some ways, but also feels like it kind of means that the sand zone is kind of a one and done when it comes to logic. Like, off the top of my head, if you can get all of the puppies in sand zone guaranteed, then there's like no checks in sand zone that you can't do as soon as you are in sand zone, basically. Whereas by randomizing the puppies throughout the entire game, it is possible for more things to be, for it to be a little bit more involved to do the puppy turn in and get the would normally be the life pot check off Jenka, and also the frenzied Koroko fight, the check that would normally be the blade from King. So I think that's kind of the key difference in letting it shuffle those throughout. So that's added a little bit of added a little something to it without making it too overwhelming for me. As I've said a couple times, I am finding it very comfy as a randomizer, honestly. Like Link to the Past randomizers, I'm not quite at the point where those are comfy for me, as they're a little bit stressful and involved. This, I can hold it all in my head. There's usually only one. For better or worse, especially under these initial starter settings. Why didn't I go out back here? Under the basic settings for the Cave Story Rando here, it feels very appropriately, again, I don't necessarily want to say linear, but you don't have to make too many severe routing decisions. Why did I go into the... Oh, right, because I forgot that I don't actually have the teleporter room key, so to go to Plantation, I have to go be a grass town. Like Bloodstained or Symphony, you love it? I haven't actually tried the Symphony Rando. I love Symphony of the Night, one of my games of all time. Also a very comfy game to me. I don't know how I'd feel doing a rando of it. I think one of the things I hear about the Symphony Rando is that... Well, the main complaint about it is the same complaint about Symphony as a whole, which is that it is trivially easy to break wide open and just have no actual gameplay challenge at all. Which is something I'm generally speaking fine with. Also, Archipelago time, you have no clue what to play. You spoiled for choice on the old Archipelago. I forget what offerings there are available there and what I would go with if I were to try it out. I've never done one. I've had offers to possibly try that out. There really is just like kind of whatever in there. Risk of Rain 2? Risk of Rain 2 seems like an interesting one. I wonder how that works, because that's not really a game that has a very conventional progression, is the thing. As far as I know. I should play more Risk of Rain 2. Every other chest you open is a progression item for someone else. Yeah, interesting. People just send you items? Yeah, to start with, yeah. That doesn't seem too bad. Max 40 to send, yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's a few games in there that have unconventional progression. It's cool that people have found ways to fit those in. Now that I have the Mimiga mask, excuse me, and get the gum key here by turning well, that's where I would usually get the sprinkler. Since I already have the broken sprinkler, I believe I can turn that in here for another check. And get the fireball. That's cool. I am gonna trade those, actually. I like having the fireball. Slay the Spy of Meritus and Lufia 2 Ancient Cave. Man, Meritus is such a weird shout in there. Not a fan of Ancient Cave in that format. Yeah, that seems like it could be pretty brutal to do in Archipelago. The Ancient Cave is so cool conceptually. I mean, I feel like everyone knows about the deal with the Ancient Cave now. Which is that it's, excuse me, basically a roguelite mode for Lufia. Due to the nature of it, you have to do the Ancient Cave in one. Yeah, that's a little rough. That is an ask for sure. That's a rough one. Alright, well with the gum key, I need to hoof it back to Grasstown. Speaking of roguelites, there's a roguelite cave story. Dare I ask? I mean, I guess if you can make a rando, you could probably sort of, you know, I can see how Dokutsu Rendamu, I see. On itch, huh? Perhaps I should check that out sometime. I'll make a note. Now that I have Gum Key, I can go fight Balfrog. And I know from recent experience, missile upgrade, huh? I really thought I would get something more useful out of this check. Doing Balfrog fight with the booster means that you can make him phase chain cycle, run through cycles very quickly. Because he changes cycle the moment you're on the other side of him. And combined with the intense DPS output of the blade, you can really hose him down. Games data is well understood. People found ways to generate map data and such. Yeah, I guess so, huh? That's always cool when people have broken down the sort of substance of a game enough to start putting it back together in curious ways. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. I want to say, I forget, I say this was probably actually a fair while ago. I'm pretty sure that for Commander Keen 1, now in the original Commander Keen 1, it's basically a maze level. Thank you for the hydration reminder, Koja, and the posture check. There's a level in Commander Keen 1 that is basically just a big maze. And I want to say that sometime in the mid-aughts, or early aughts even, someone put together a program that just generates new maze levels for Commander Keen 1. And I think that's neat. I don't know if I've spoken about it lately, but there was absolutely a time in my life when I was very invested in the Commander Keen modding scene, which is shockingly robust, I think, for a game of that age and nature. I'm gonna have a look at what exactly can do. I've exhausted my Grasstown and Plantation checks for now, I believe. I think in terms of unchecked areas, I think the second half of Labyrinth is actually the frontier I have not yet explored particularly, which I could have done a while back since I had the cure-all and had saved Curly quite a bit earlier on. As silly as it sounds to have saved Curly when I am Curly, but... yeah, no, you may be shocked to learn there is a I don't know if I would say thriving modding community for Commander Keen. I think it's definitely past its heyday, as it were, but it is still active. And it will be active until this level lass herself finally can't find time in between her children and her nursing job to keep poking at this video game. I don't want to do that. What am I doing? Forgetting where to go. Labyrinth. That's where to go. Yeah, I was for a time fairly invested in the Commander Keen modding community. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there. Like, these days, there's decompilations of both the original Vortican's trilogy and the Goodbye Galaxy games. Hey, are you even listening to me? No. Hell, I don't think you even said anything this time, Balrog. Yeah, no, there's full decompilations of and re-implementations of both the original and sequel trilogy of Commander Keen games. There has been for quite some time now one of my favorite Commander Keen, Kelly's Air Tank, interesting, related fanworks was Netkeen, which was very amusingly based on a decompilation of the Commander Keen and Galaxy and Wolfenstein 3D sources with some Doom IPX netcode glued on for good measure to create multiplayer deathmatch Commander Keen, which worked shockingly well. Playable on real DOS machines with appropriate IPX networking hardware, and also, of course, playable online with the with DOSBox's IPX emulation. So, with unfortunately delay-based netcode because of that. That was a pretty good time. Very novel. I don't know. Howdy. I should probably just move past these enemies instead of faffing about too much, huh? So your Netkeen was a good time. Just modding for those games in general is interesting to see. Ultimately, I think in some ways DOS games are actually responsible for a lot of the online communities I ended up in various ways. Hey, I got the little man. I honestly forgot that there were checks I could do in here now that I had the fireball and then subsequently the machine gun, but let's say I intended to come in here. While I may have adopted Game Boy theming in my presentation here, In my childhood, I was actually much more of a PC gal. So my heart belongs to the Commander's Keen and the Jazz's Jackrabbit of the world. Are we still in the labyrinth? Yes, actually. I guess I'll do a core fight. I suppose. Could you at least let me refill my health? Wow. Did a bad job of hitting that from a distance. So also in my youth, once I realized that you could just download games on the internet for free, and realized that most people also didn't care if you downloaded old DOS games off the internet for free, that was something I started doing a lot of. That was when I was like, what do you mean they made a Jazz Jackrabbit 2? So some of the earliest online communities I actually found were... Well, the first time I found out, I was, you know, looking up, I was like, hey, I never played those other episodes of Jazz Jackrabbit past the, you know, the shareware one. Looking at that, I found out about Jazz Jackrabbit 2. I found the Jazz 2 online community, which another one of those niche retro communities that is still humming away. Playing Jazz Jackrabbit 2 netplay, patching it to make it, you know, good. More modern, perhaps. I'm glad again to have Curly's air tank for this fight. It takes away one of the significant stresses in this fight, is not having to do air management. Of course, having one of the boosters is also very good. Yeah, hooray for being able to breathe. An essential for robots for some reason. Oof. Please stop blowing me away. Come on, open up. Wow, he really tanked a lot of that. That's how the rando is going, but I've already got the spur, so it can't be all bad. Yeah, I've been very well armed for most of this rando. It's been a little bit involved. I think I have had to do a bit more of a bit more back and forth thing than last time, but overall nothing too rough. Gotta wait for the air to run out. What's here on the tow rope? Check. Chaco's lipstick, charming. Let me take a big drink while I wait for this to run out. Yeah, it's going alright. But yeah, in my youth, I came across the Jazz Jackrabbit 2 online community, and bizarrely enough, in looking into that from there, I saw linked from like someone's like forum signature to their like Jazz Jackrabbit fan webcomic, which was somehow my exposure to the concept of webcomics at large. Life capsule, okay. Let me tow you out of here, Curly. And from there, I clicked through to like one of those, like, vote for me on, you know, webcomic top 100. Which is something you just don't get anymore online, is those, like, top 100 webcomic, like, not even web rings, but, like, specifically these, like, top lists. But I don't know how I never really understood how the voting was supposed to play into any of that. But from one of those lists I found out about the sprite comic Heroes Inc., which was not a very good sprite comic. Its whole deal was that it had higher production values than most sprite comics, which meant that it did like swirly Photoshop effects and it even had like full like 3D scenes constructed with these billboard-ass Super Nintendo sprites, and Link with his goofy-ass Link to the Past proportions standing next to Pooh from Earthbound and Samus from Super Metroid. And obviously none of these characters make any sense when you put those sprites just like next to each other, but there they all are in 3D with, you know, realistic lighting and shadowing off them. And looking back, it is like, how did anyone ever think anything about this was good or cool? And the answer is, of course, we were like 12. And I think it was an affiliate link from there that brought me to the sprite comics that the sprite comic community, from which I know many people to this day, or I guess a handful of people, whom I weren't embarrassed by naming now. But some of my oldest friends I know through sprite comics. People still clearly think putting 2D sprites in a bunch of lighting clearly not designed for the game is okay. Yeah, no, you're right. It kind of was just getting ahead of the whole HD 2D curve. That's Cave Story plus Switch. Yeah, the lighting engine in that game is bizarre. I don't know why they put that in there. Same reason they put in the water physics for some reason, which also don't look very congruous at all. Don't hate it, but you're not sure you like it. Yeah, it's just odd. Like, it's not offensive, but it's just strange. I'd like to hope a lot of those people continue finding their creative devs. I trust they did. Thank you, Lily. Watching someone play Cave Story, therefore it's Litigano Moscow Day. As good a reason as any. Honestly, we're probably floating pretty close to Cave Story's actual 19th birthday. It was released in December of 2004, though I forget exactly when. Let me drain the water out of Curly. And she fell asleep again. Let's pray for your victory. But I hope you're having a good time, Zone Lily. December 20th, cool. What does the cat do? The cat lets you go back into the mid part of the labyrinth. Which is to say, I forget the exact name, Labyrinth M maybe? But after you fight the core and the way back floods, I guess if you want to return to the labyrinth from this side, you would speak to the cat. It is also, in scientific terms, a small critter. You'd say more games should let you play as Kelly Brace, say you get in a car spinning Cave Story in that stupid fighting game. Are you telling me you don't like Blade Strangers? Which, honestly, is a really good name for a video game. Yeah, commonly known as a little guy, this is true. Is there a logic setting to make the Iron Head full health reward? You probably just get the medal no matter what, right? As in, you get the check that would have been the medal regardless of your health status, right? Blade Stranger's Devs banned the Nicalis CEO from the Discord. Yeah, I know, I don't hold the crimes of Nicalis against the games that they have published. Blade Stranger sounds like some kind of sword fighting game with a romance plot, exactly. But more importantly, we get the squids. Thank you, Ika-chan. And there's the cat also letting you go back to the labyrinth that way. Do I get a check off going back to now that I've done that? I think there's a check up here that I would get the spur normally, right? Man, the post-abduction village music is really sad. Blade Stranger's alright if unimpressive. Yeah, it seemed like fine. Just seemed unfortunately like it had Nicalis' stank on it. Was that game developed by what's the name? I forget the name of the company, but they did like the actual developers of that I think were the developers of the new Cotton and Umihara Kawase games. I forget the name of the company, but I want to say they were Blade Strangers, yeah. I used to hang out with a guy who is apparently pretty senior there these days. With a life pot. Okay, well that was nice. That was worth checking in on. Life pot good to have, even if I didn't actually use it last time. So healthy. I am actually shockingly healthy. I have really high life capsule completion so far. I feel like I haven't been getting so many missiles, mostly life upgrades. Now I have to find my way out of the cave here. Max life is 55. Yeah, I think I'm like 1 health capsule away from max, yeah. But I'm an IRL, I'm gonna say I have good bones. I mean, I like to think so. Just built different. I've never broken a bone outside of 1 or 2 of my toes, so... Admittedly, that's more to do with my lifestyle choices than any particular resilience on the part of my bones, I think, but... But, I can hang my hat on that at least. Editor's notes. Unsure if hat can actually be hung on this. So what did I get out of all that junk? What did I get all out of all that junk? You totally forgot about the whimsical star. Yeah, it's a really easy item to just simply not get because it requires you to go back to the labyrinth after you have the spur. So, yeah. Now that you think about it, Kelly and quote, were designed and sent to destroy the demon crown unlike the rest of the robots. Yes, they literally are built different than the average killer robot. I mean, based on their functionality, they seem to be built very different. Oh, and now that I've done this, I get the Booster 2.0 check. Vanilla Booster 2.0. Normally the guy gives you the worst weapon in the game. Oh, and now I need to remember that I have Booster 2.0. Let me see. What did I get out of the, I feel like I got something important out of the, Only guys like your weapon's better than mine have this star instead. Interesting. The snake isn't the worst weapon in the game also. The snake is cool. Oh, I got Mr. Little out of the, out of the check, so I've got to go return Mr. Little on the other end of the egg corridor. Is my next port of call. No, I think it's unfair to the snake to call it the worst weapon in the game. It's just... it sure isn't the spur, is the thing. Kinda like the snake. Yeah, no, the snake is fine. It's just, again, like... If you haven't already traded the Polar Star for the machine gun, you're probably saving it for the spur. So there's not a lot of times when you are in the market for the snake, so to speak. But the snake is cool. Can't think of a time you'd want the snake. It's a wavy beam, exactly. Love when the beam is wavy. Completely lost my train of thought. I feel like I was in the middle of some sort of riveting conversation earlier, and it's just gone from me. Of the joke in Iconoclasts where the upgrade to make your shots go through walls is literally called Wavy Beam. That's pretty good. Iconoclasts is a game I should get back to. I bought that on Switch and played a little bit of it, and just never got stuck into it. It seems very good, you know, obviously Konjak makes incredible looking games. You love it? Yeah. No, it looks incredible. It seemed like it played okay. The story I didn't get deep into, but I was a little confused about its tone, I guess would be my initial appraisal. Spent like months tazzing it. It seems like you could probably do a pretty cool tazz of that game. My complaint about Iconoclasts... If I had to make one complaint, has tons of really satisfying movement. Yeah. Is... Konjak, if you're going to make a pretty lady boobed up character your protagonist, just make her 18, Jesus Christ. He was exploring the island with the teleporter room key. Thanks, Mr. Little. So now that I have the teleporter room key, I can, teleport from Arthur's house to the plantation, but I can also go get abducted by the guy waiting in the teleporter room and thrown into jail with Sue. Ah, killer robot. I'm not a killer robot. Look at me. Look at my cute face. Look at my cute oversized mask. Oh, you can probably get real goofy damage boosting off that, huh? But I'm not clever enough for that, actually. Let me hop up here. Man, Moonsong is so good. I know we've spoken about how good the Cave Story OST is, but I don't think we actually spent time on the outer wall last rando. Moonsong is a song of all time? Hell yeah. It's a really good one. What are those cat ghost things anyway? Did I just answer my own question? Are they simply cat ghost things? Oops, can say. Yeah, Look, I know you're very startled. Oh, woe is you. Oh, actually, also, now that I've saved Curly, I can... You're so cute. Don't go too far, and watch out for the bad... Oh, because she thinks I'm a Amiga. Thanks for telling her I can find the Amiga mask. Now in Village, where I would usually go get the mushroom medal off Marpignon. There's another check I have now. So let me... I mean, I'm heading this way anyway. No responsibility taken if you use the gunfish as platforms. Donk. Vanilla Sue letter. Hey, don't donk me. Wait, is that Vanilla Sue letter? Is that how you get that? I didn't see this last time. Extremely funny inventory consolidation. Lascivious items. This is Sue. Okay. Yes, I am aware. Thank you for telling me the password. I also really love Gestation, this track. Might actually be my favorite track on the soundtrack, but again, it's stiff competition. Gonna make sure they get renamed to lesbian items when playing as Curly or Misery? Exactly. Yours is Geothermal, not barely in the game. Geothermal's good too. Is the puppy up here yet? No. Litigano Motscout. R.I.P. Chivalry Sakamoto. Jellyfish juice, cool. So now I can go do some fireplace checks. Yeah. Alright, let's go this way. Back to Arthur's house. I already know that the controller for the rocket is... Wait, hang on. I think I need to go speak to Ito before I go as well. I think he has a check that would normally be the controller. I know the controller is the Malco prize here that I get for turning in the charcoal and gum base and jellyfish juice. And I don't have either the charcoal or gum base yet, which means that I suspect those are in some fireplaces. Got the sprinkler. Okay, I do also need that. to build the rocket, I believe. I am going to be right back. Stand up and stretch and freshen up. You'll feel free to do so as well. I'll leave you with the hot jams of the Cave Story theme tune. Cavey. Welcome in, Darren. Hope you're having a great time zone. I know it's evening for you, but I'm still gonna say time zone anyway. We are trucking along nicely in the cave story randomizer here. Getting pretty close to wrapping it up here. Honestly, shockingly high exhaustion of checks. Good little timey zone, excellent. Love to hear that. Yeah, we've honestly exhausted most possibilities. We may actually end up with very near to full check completion once we wrap this. Gotta go back and actually, yeah, I think we almost certainly must, because there's only a few checks left altogether. I gotta go do the Marmignon check since I have poor amnesiac Curly waiting for me. Which might actually be... It's possible that this might be semi-vanilla Marmignon. Not actually vanilla, because normally you would get Marmignon off actually doing the fight with Marmignon, but... Alien metal. Okay, well that's nothing. Fascinating. There's no guarantee that I'll even get Marmignon, although I might get it off the Red Devil fight. Mushroom, welcome in, Alfie. Hope you're having a lovely time zone. Hope you're well. Hope it's all good. As I was just saying, we're getting into the end game here. I need to go check the fireplace in the meeting hall before I teleport out of the village, actually. Serious mood whiplash in Pathfinder tonight? Yeah, that sounds about right for the tabletop experience. Gun base in assembly hall. So now I just need the charcoal, which I think at this point might be in its vanilla location in Santa's fireplace. Yeah, I suspect that that mood whiplash is a potentially a rather common feature of the usual tabletop RPG experience. Grasstown is where I'm headed. I almost forgot. Because yeah, there's not a whole lot of other stuff that could be a whole lot of other places. Yep, vanilla charcoal. Alright, now that I've got all those, I need to wander on to the other side of Grasstown here to get the controller. Then... yeah, go mode. Exactly. I mean, and about time too, because just glancing at my... while I didn't have time to fit the tracker on screen on my layouts, I can see that I have hit just about every check I possibly could. I've got full weapon completion, I've got all inventory items except for the supercharge and Marmignon. Why am I going in Chaco's house? Just wanted to say hi to her, I guess. Is Nemesis not in the rando? No, Nemesis is in the rando and I do actually have it, but due to the constraints of the weapon system, you can only have either, just like in vanilla, you can only have the blade or the Nemesis in your inventory at one time. So I do actually have the Nemesis, I just haven't got it on me. You can go and swap that in Arthur's house at any time in the rando. as you can do with the snake and the fireball if you have both. And you can also just put the bubbler away if you're sick of having it take up space in your weapon wheel. Malco, please give me controller. You'd offer me some tea, but what? Dreadful lack of hospitality. They're both robots. Look, I don't... Malco, I suspect, probably can't drink tea, but... The bubbler, I think, has occasional... It has a very limited window of... Hey, come on. A very limited window of usefulness in, well, A in rando, yes, if you enable, block breaking with bubbler, which can only be done with bubbler level 3, so you'd have to grind. But in vanilla, there's a limited window of usefulness where if you aren't taking the machine gun, you know, it can be a nifty bit of extra firepower in some circumstances in the early game. But yeah, once you have the machine gun, and definitely once you have the spur, it's not... I did actually add the loot bug, Alfie. You've just been unlucky so far. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but since you asked directly... Is there even one in there? Should have been. And yeah, by the time you pass the machine gun, yeah. You heard the squeak, yeah. Again, I specifically went and looked for it. It turns out it was actually very easy to make them... to add the sounds. It was just hard for me to find the information because it's only in the fucking video tutorial by the author. And I have the disease where if you make something, if you make the information on how to do something only available in video tutorial form, I simply cannot be bothered. Gotta spend all this time to skim through and find it in a 12-minute video? Wow, you're really having a rough roll of it, huh? You would really have thought that it would have happened by now. I mean, I guess there's like 8 different possibilities in there. Actually, I forget exactly how many things there are in the pool. I think it's around 8. There we are. Loot bug. Very cute. No, I'm glad I got around to adding it. Alright, Mom, here's all this crap. Build me a rocket. Since I have the iron bond, I can theoretically do a hell run if I really want to. Yep. But I won't have Curly unless I give her Marmignon, right? Ah, oops. I wanted to get off to see the puppy first. I wanted to see if the puppy had Marmignon, because that would mean that I would be able to easily go back and... Hey. Has not enough already been thrown at me? Made puppy watch me die. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, puppy. Ah. Long time no off. Nope, just a life capsule. That's cool though. Now I gotta wait for the rocket to come back down. Might be faster just to reload the zone. So I've got maximum life, which is always nice. Alright, last cave. Unlike the rocket chivalry, Sakamoto cannot come back. Rough stuff. Should probably be more careful in the last cave here. Almost like it's some kind of final challenge. At least having the spur means I don't have to worry about leveling up all my weapons, really. Hey, I'm out of practice getting the proper booster movement to not die on all these. Trivia, Cave Story 3D has 2 versions of Last Cave, one of which is completely unused. Fascinating. How bizarre. Oops, I think I lost more health than I gained in that little skim exchange. As in the music track. That makes sense, because I was like, surely all versions of Cave Story have 2 versions of Last Cave. Of which both are used. But no, music-wise, that makes more sense. Wouldn't have been surprised if it sounds like Cave Story 3D is an interesting piece of work. From what I've been told in these couple streams. Whoops, get out of here. A lot of extra content in areas. Yeah, they did work on it. I have 1 health. I guess I should probably burn my life pot, huh? I don't have to. Ooh. The minimum amount of health, you know? That's what they say. Last pixel's the only one that counts. And count it does right until you beat it. Directed by Pixel, yeah. At the very least didn't disapprove, you know? Cave Story 3D again does seem like an odd one. Much safer traversal this time around through the last cave here. So, hang on, I need to scratch my nose really bad. While I could do a hell run, it is not my win con for this preset. And I think, so I can do a hell run because I have the Iron Bond, but because I haven't actually saved Curly, I think I would still have to do it without Curly, is that right? Since I haven't actually solved her amnesia. I guess I could find out. Like, you can always save in the prefab shelter. Well, we can experiment. So that might be cutting it a little late if I wanted to. Is it possible for Marpignon to be in hell? There's like one check in hell, right? Or like two. It's like a missile upgrade and a health upgrade, yeah. I would say I'm not actually sure. It might be possible if you're playing, again, like my current flag set where hell is not compulsory. I could also get Marpignon off this guy. Oh, got the turbocharge instead. Cool. So maybe Marpignon is in hell? I don't actually know. I would like to not die here. That would be embarrassing. That's a thing I say a lot, actually. It would be embarrassing to die at this juncture. Hey guys. Bye guys. Save, save, save. Yeah, I know about the boost to 2.0. I got the boost to 2.0. Top the world. Obviously this predates Tower of Heaven by a good order of magnitude, but I do get Tower of Heaven vibes from this track. What was that crash again? I keep forgetting. Because that's not in vanilla. I don't really need to actually do this, do I? All my homies love Tower of Heaven. It's a good video game. It's a tangent there, but I need to get around someday to playing Katana Zero, which bizarrely is by the Tower of Heaven developer, even though it seems like it could not be further afield in many ways. It seemed interesting. Pause Ahead was also really good. Lesser appreciated ASCII soft work. SL3 and Blade 2 are good for burst close range DPS. Yeah, they are, but like, I've got the spur, so. Katana Zero was fun. It seemed interesting. It's just one of the disgusting pile of games that I've not gotten around to just because I'm slack mostly. I have a weird problem where there's a lot of like indie games that I bought on my Switch because there was a period of time where I was extremely handheld pilled. And I thought, well, if I buy them on my Switch, I'm so much more likely to play them than I am on PC. And then after buying all those games like that and Iconoclasts and so on my Nintendo Switch, also I couldn't legally acquire it at launch on the... Well, no, I couldn't acquire it on Switch at launch because it wasn't rated on there. But I could still get it on GOG and Steam, I think. It wasn't like verboten the way Hotline Miami 2 was, it just wasn't rated. And I put it off until it was on. Yeah. No, exactly, Elfie. That was kind of my thing there. Mr. Traveler. So scared that the physical release of Cave Story on Switch was going to be limited like Cave Story 3D. Yeah. You bought your copy several months before you had a Switch just in case, yeah. I kind of wish I'd gotten a physical copy of that in terms of if I was going to get, you know, since I've paid for it anyway, it's like the price of that on the eShop is already way more than an eShop copy of that game should cost. IMO. I mean, at least it wasn't as totally ridiculous as the price Nicalis was asking for Binding of Isaac on Switch in Australia. Ooh, mini disc for the new soundtrack and a cute manual, that's good as hell. But, I want to say the asking price for Binding of Isaac on Switch in Australia was like the same as like a full price AAA game. It was like, ain't no one out there paying $90 for Binding of Isaac, Nicalis. Maybe it wasn't quite 90, but it was ridiculous. Give me some hearts. I played a little sloppy in that doctor fight, but that's alright. I'll live. I've still got my life pot, since I didn't waste it on the last cave there. If I really need it. They call you Dr. Sloppy? I bet they do, Darren. Mini CD or actual mini disc? I mean, honestly, mini CDs are still cool, but I suspect an actual mini disc. I think they just milk co- Yeah, no, absolutely. Nicalis has made enough BOI money to just do whatever. Alright, get up here, you undead creep. A new starter in the Switch port showing they intend to port it to other platforms. Yeah. Not too surprising. Is that of a Cave Story or of Binding of Isaac? Cave Story, okay. That would have been cool to have on any of those platforms. I think it's very funny that they put out Binding of Isaac on new 3DS only because they couldn't get it to run on the regular 3DS, I guess. Alright, Sue and Misery are already out of it. Yeah, both the Wii and Switch are massive successes and they both have Cave Story ports. Coincidence? I think not. Wii U didn't get one and it was a flop. Join the dots. Follow the Cave Story. Ah. Easy. GG no re. You know, I think you're onto something there, Ikuya. We gotta get out of here. Also, thank you for the hydrate and posture reminder, Koja. I did take a drink. I don't know if you caught that. Doing a Metroid exactly. This is unlocked since I have the Iron Bond. Bed's all crooked. Switch launched with Breath of the Wild, and that's just a Cave Story remake? That's a bold statement. Welcome to hell, everyone. Let me... Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to... Stop breaking those before I get to them. There's the Marpignon. Spur. There we go. But because the Marpignon arrived too late, Curly is nowhere to be found. A silent amnesiac soldier wakes up a long time after a long slumber. Yes, famously something which has never happened before in video games. But I'm willing to entertain your argument for what games are or aren't like Cave Story. I'm going to get bonked by so many of these. I hate this fucking room. I'm no good at this room, goddamn. I should just keep moving. I know that's what I'm supposed to do. I want to not get bombed too bad. Explores a vast world, recovers his memories, and has a talkative blonde female companion. I suppose you could make that argument. Also, one could argue that Quote doesn't actually recover his memories in Cave Story is the thing. He doesn't partake of the Marpignon. Curly remembers who Quote is and tells him that, but there's no textual evidence that Quote ever actually remembers who he's supposed to be. The only evidence he has for it is what Curly's told him and the iron bond she gives him. Doom is a cave story. Exactly. I mean, Doom guy, I guess Doom 2016 guy is an amnesiac, potentially. I don't think canonically, Doom guy in 93 is an amnesiac. Also, welcome in, Savante. Yeah, put down that chicken. Anyway, this is not going to be the fastest hell run in the world. But I've got a little time to spare, so I'll give it a shot or two. Let's see how we go with it. With my rust. No chickens in this house. Old wife's going vegetarian. Fair enough. No chorbs to be found. Oh wow, those arrows stay active while they're sticking in the ground, huh? Although I would like to trigger you guys here. Thank you. Get out of here. It was very silly doing the hell run with the Amiga mask on, something which you cannot conventionally do. As to retain the Amiga mask in vanilla into the boss fights, you need to not hand it back into Memorin, which means you do not get the booster back off her, which means you are ineligible to do the hell run. So this is a goofy rando-only treat, is the Amiga mask hell run. Oh, please stop shooting arrows at me. You're so impolite. Well, good luck to it, I'm going vegetarian. I've considered going vegetarian just strictly because as a single person living alone, obtaining and maintaining meat is more difficult than non-meat foodstuffs. So much effort. It's like, oh, I've got to portion this and freeze it, and so frequently I am too slack to buy meat. Not too principled, just too lazy. I am not in a great position right here. I'd like to tidy up some of these cherubim. Thought about going vegetarian because the way we farm meat is kind of terrible in a lot of ways. Yeah, it seems like not super sustainable for a lot of, you know, you get the advocates that are like, you know, you would reduce greenhouse gases more by cutting out ground meat than by, you know, stopping driving cars or whatever. And I always find those statistics are clearly a little bit spurious. And also it's, again, very difficult to actually measure an individual's carbon footprint in that way because at the end of the day it is kind of the industries that produce it and not the consumer. Exactly, that would assume they stop producing it, which again, unless there was a concerted mass movement, there would not be a meaningful change in the output there. I don't have a lot of health right now. That's okay though. Heavy press fight isn't too tough. But I got complacent. Ack! You bonked me. Alright. You've bonked me again. I can't believe you. Clearly that's why I fell into the spikes and died. I really do need to go back and remaster the early throwables with sound effects because it is jarring not having any reaction to it. Generally, it's hard for an individual to affect change on an industry by becoming a non-consumer, yeah. People who don't care become a greater percentage, yeah. Yeah, buy ethically, source from, source responsibly where you can, of course. I think that's a very reasonable course of action that is individually actionable. Of course. I try and do my bit, consume responsibly where I can. That was one of the things that really bugged me. This is a bit of a tangent, and not to talk about horrible trends in the world that we hate. But, when people gave a shit about NFTs at all, and we're still speaking on NFTs, I always flinched from the environmental argument against NFTs about, it's like, oh, and well, crypto and NFTs, and it's like, oh, you know, each transaction is like burning half a kilometer of rainforest, and I'm like, that seems deeply, deeply spurious. Yes, thank you, Dan Olsen, for finally killing crypto once and for all. It wasn't even that long ago, but it feels like it was. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a little while since it was really being treated seriously. That was like early pandemic. But I always flinched away from the environmental arguments around it because they were just like so spurious.
The reason the argument constantly came up was crypto shills arguing that it was less or equivalent energy to crypto credit card transactions. Right, which was obviously a flagrant misrepresentation as well. But whenever you would see like the stats floating around, it's like, oh, each transaction is, yeah, like burning like half a mile of Amazon rainforest, and it's like, I don't see how that can be possible. And even if it were, it's not like the responsibility is being shouldered by individuals. It is not that by participating in the system and minting one NFT or whatever that you are having this direct effect. Ultimately, the actual net carbon footprint is shitty dickheads with farms full of these crypto miners using the power output of a small nation to run these farms who are actually responsible for it. Like, it's not an equivalence you can really draw. A better argument against that is, yeah, shut the fuck up. This is, yeah, that's 6 billion people. I mean, yeah, it was a spurious argument from the crypto shills, but it felt like it's one of those frustrating arguments where you have to recognize that by engaging them, they are not engaging you in good faith, so you don't have to engage them back in good faith. Yeah, the counter argument was not much better on merit. Like, the actual argument against crypto is all the stuff about how it is nothing but pyramid schemes and that it doesn't actually provide any of the benefits that are claimed. And even if it wasn't burning, even if crypto was somehow completely carbon zero, it would still be a bad concept. It should still not have been anything. All focusing on the environmental argument did was give more air to the people who are like, oh, but soon it'll be proof of stake, not proof of work. And then all the energy efficiency it's not an unworthwhile point, but yeah. Even if it were efficient, it would still be wasteful. If you can do carbon zero crypto, you could easily do carbon zero banking, almost certainly. And let's be honest, there's a lot of other problems with banking we also need to resolve outside of the electronic concerns. Welcome in, Lena. I hope you're having a wonderful time zone. I'm doing hell runs because even though I strictly do not need hell completion for my win-con in this particular rando, I can do it, and I thought I had a little bit more stream time left, so why not? You been lurking? I hope you've been having a good time with it. Good to have you around, lurking or not. I miss having Curly just going to town with the Nemesis here. Would it be better for me to have the blade out here, actually? No, I would need to jump to actually hit the heavy press. Never mind. The thing about this fight is mostly more that it's chaotic than any specific difficulty. Like, obviously, heavy presses attacks themselves are kind of a non-issue. It's more about getting in and out of attack range while avoiding your field of play being completely swamped by the cherubim. Also, I can see you're all having fascinating discussions that I cannot look at right now because I'm trying not to die stupidly. Okay, now I can look. You've never seen what this stage looks like, so this is one of the weirder contexts to do so for the first time. This is basically vanilla, apart from the fact that I'm curly and have the Amiga mask on. Also been lurking, doing some coding to brush up your skills and round out your GitHub. That's cool. Patterns don't look that difficult. Yeah, it's the legibility, really. Tend to get really good at this fight as you learn the next fight. That also is the thing, is that you will fight heavy press very many times as you have to go back to go through it every time you get to the Balos fight. Let's waste these dorks. Hope for health. Not a bad health haul, actually. And I still have the life pot. I'm not confident in my ability to beat Balos at this stage, but we'll see. That's what Kelly was trying to do when we find her in vanilla. Yeah, she was going to solo it. Well, I shall kill you. Balos Phase 1 is basically a Booster 2 skill check, in case the rest of Sacred Grounds and Last Cave hadn't been enough of a Booster 2 skill check. Wasted. Don't fall on me. Ooh. Oops. That was rough. The spur kind of mitigates having to get right up on the eye zone to do damage. Don't know how it feels when you're playing, but the constant screen shaking is not nice to watch. I think it's probably a little smaller on my screen and so a little less aggressive, but it is pretty intense. I'm sorry if that's a rough viewing experience. Life pot, yeah, look. I was busy looking at the game. Rip. You know, the screen shake is a little rough. Yeah, Ikio here works on the Cave Story Tweaked fork of the game, which has a lot of very neat... Yeah, it shakes on all directions. It's pretty intense. Thank you for the hydration reminder, Day. Welcome in. Many loot bugs. Ikio maintains the, shit. Yeah, you found all the loot bugs, so you're rolling them all now. Darren was hanging on to them. Ikio maintains the Tweaks fork of the Cave Story decompilation. Heck! Which has several quality of life features, including the ability to turn off screen shake. It is my recommended way to play the game. Generally speaking, I don't need to keep landing there and checking Marpignon. I know it's just going to be Marpignon. It offers many quality of life tweaks such as auto fire and, again, turning off screen shake or things of that nature. But yeah, the screen just kind of is just constantly shaking in a lot of this this hell run here. Legit haven't played Cave Story seriously since like college? Yeah, that's probably been a minute, huh? I have played Cave Story very many times. Which is why I thought I should shake it up and try out the randomizer. And I think that's a lot of fun. Download the Wii version when you're all excited about that? Yeah. I don't think you got fire in it. Oh, look, the Wii version's cool. That's a place you can play that game for sure. What was I gonna say? Yeah, boy, the screen shake really just doesn't stop all through Sacred Grounds, does it? Pretty brutal. I wonder if there's like an OBS plugin or filter that's like a screen stabilizer you could use. That probably wouldn't look very good. That would probably somehow look more disorienting and worse. The original translation patch came out when you were in high school and you were already in the fan translation scene, ended up spreading it around school? Yeah. I didn't get to spread it around school as much, though I did give it to one guy in my high school computer science class, and that was a number of years after the fact. Imagining the HUD wiggling around, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? That would be what would happen if you stabilized the rest of the screen. It would be probably less disorienting, but in its own way a little rough. Oh, also the background too, yeah, that's... I hadn't noticed that the background is stationary while the rest of it moves. Lots of peculiar choices with the screen shake. Yeah, maybe it just wouldn't handle it very well at all because of that. Much to ponder. Either way, I don't have that filter or plugin installed, so we won't find out. Affected by the horizontal shake, but not the vertical. Yeah, I guess maybe that's just a peculiarity of the way the parallax is implemented. Odd. Now staring at the background, so the background is shaking a little bit left and right, but not up and down as much. I think is what's going on there, Darren. Look at these dimples. Look at this very clearly repeating tiled texture. That's okay, you're not supposed to look at it too closely. Get back on this side of here so I can just bop you guys. Whoa! Slow down! These guys building up some serious momentum, bouncing off the walls in there. So ordinarily in this chest there is there's just a regular 4 missile upgrade in here, a little thad. 5 missiles actually, but... in vanilla in that chest you would get either, I think it's like a 24 missile it's a decently sized missile upgrade if you progress through the game as normally. If you haven't opened any of the missile chests during the game and haven't received the missile launcher yet, you'll get the missile launcher and like 90 missiles, which is way more capacity than you would get any other way in the game. However, it does mean that you're not getting the super missile launcher, so I'm not actually sure how it evens out as a value proposition. 90, is it 90 or like 50? It's a lot. It's more missiles than you would ever get if you simply got every other missile capacity upgrade in the game, I believe. It may not be 90, I may be forgetting that one. Okay, let me clear out all these cherubim. I forget what the actual name for these enemies is. More Cave Story 3D fun facts. I'm very grateful for these. While the best ending route in Yo is using glitches to collect that missile pack repeatedly. Cool. Extremely funny 420 max missiles to clear hell. That's just good jokes. Okay, we're gonna end up with a little bit more health going into the Balos fight here, I think, than last time. Come on, let me get some good hits in. There we go. You can get killed by the heavy press if you stand under it while it's falling. Do not learn this the hard way. Because it was funny you doubled down in safety runs, you'd make sure to get 69 HP. Fair enough. Also more HP than you should usually be able to get in a non-glitched run of the game. Is the seed on these fixed in rando? Oh, Cave Story 3D just has a lot more health drops? Fascinating. Get up to 98 non-glitched. That's more health than anyone needs in this video game. For reference, in original vanilla, 55 is your max health. Save data uses little endian 16-bit. Fascinating. Oops, I forgot to wait until he raised his hand and became vulnerable. 65535 health. That's way more health than you would ever need. Oops. Let myself get bonked carelessly. Anyway, while this guy's up here, he shoots lightning bolts at you, and you gotta get out of the way, or take health like this. Take damage like this, rather. Does have a cap of 255, which we'll enforce. Reasonable. Let me out of the way of this. Okay, let me pop my items. I'm going to use my health pot now. Life pot, thank you. Yes, I was furiously mashing the item button while I was waiting for Balos to fall. Mushrooms. I'm glad they get consolidated there too. Anyway, earlier than I would like to burn the life pot here, but what can you do? You know, I could use it or I could die, so those are basically my options. And if using it will prolong my run longer than dying will. Second funniest item consolidation behind the loot items, yeah. I mean, when you get down to it, lipstick itself isn't that lewd, it's more the circumstances around it that, Anyway, here's the third form of Balos. This one's a nice breather, honestly. This one's basically free, as long as you are careful not to get rolled over or bonked by skulls. Balos Orb form. Thank you for recognizing the correct spelling of form, which is with an E on the end. Well, for the first half, well, it's a phase change when you take out all the eyes here. IMO, that becomes phase 4. Chorb time, yeah. Yes, obviously once this happens, it is a significant difficulty increase. Final phase. So used to the quick kill on final form. Unfortunately, I do not know this. Whoa! Whoa, let me stay on the platforms, my friend. Love to not be... Wow. Am I gonna get the kill on this? This seems like it's going a lot better than this fight usually goes for me. I am hosing him down with the spur. GG. $10 and 58 seconds. Thank you. As I said, not exactly a speedrun time, but with Balos destroyed, the ion sinking stops. I made it look easy. I'm shocked by how well I did that. It's me again. Hey, Curly got better, thank goodness. So hard. The pain. She respawns, exactly. No, I'm a little shocked at how well that fight went, considering it's been a while since I did it, to be honest. There you are, just like Misery said. Thank you for the rescue, Balrog. Quickly involves using the spikes to get iframes and then boosting past the orbitals and dumping all your level 3 rockets. Yeah, that makes sense. If I had level 3 rockets, then perhaps I could, but the spur does pretty good. Now you learn that Balrog can fly, making it even less clear what Balrog actually is. I like just the pair of curlies riding on. Wait, which curly are we? Are we the middle curly? Are we the one that has the more clearly visible midriff? Balrog's just a funny guy, that's what he is, yeah. Why didn't Court and Curly just fly the demon crown to Mordor? I thought you hated our guts. Nah, we were just being controlled. The curse is lifted, yay. Neither of us has to take orders from anyone. They're taking the Mimiga to Isengard. God. You think we're the curly on the left, so we're not the curly with midriff. That's disappointing. Anyway, I can't progress this. What did I say? What? You don't say. I do say. Tell me where is Jenka for I much desire to speak with her. Oh, you're quoting the song? I'm sorry, I'm a fake. I'm a fake. I do not remember most of the Taking the Hobbits to Isengard song, unfortunately. Or fortunately, perhaps. It's okay. I can take you any way you like. Don't know why you remember, because you were on the internet in the mid-2000s. 90% of it? Yeah, I remember the important parts. You know, it's also why you remember like 90% of the strong bad emails. Yeah, I remember much more of those. A family can just be two curly braces and their pet Balrog. He's only named Balrog in the translation. He was named Bison in the original Japanese. I see. Naruhodo. That's why he's usually just referred to as boxer in international in tournament settings. You'll know that Balrog is a switch dock. I like this interpretation, actually. Now we get to see all the credit illustrations we didn't see last time. The Mimiga-shaped coward, brutal. I love this illustration of Curly and Court going through hell together. Curly's still having a great time. Make a new external case for a switch dog that looks like Balrog. That would be pretty good. Oh, it looks like I did a thing. I did indeed, Rachel. Welcome in. I finished another cave story rando, and I even did a hell run just for the hell of it. Hope you're having a great time zone. You may have missed most of it if you're only just coming in. Unfortunately, I'll be wrapping up pretty soon. Solo hell run. I was not assisted by Curly and her nemesis. Because, yes, the Marpignon check was shuffled into hell, and you would normally have to take Marpignon to Curly to cure her amnesia. Been in and out of consciousness today. Right, yeah, you sounded like you're a little groggy. Hope you're feeling a little better. Ultimately a friend, Balrog. And since my win condition for the randomizer settings I have set is just the normal ending, it is not required for Curly to be savable and to finish the hell run. Balrog's a good boy. Ultimately. Every cave needs a bat. Slices you up. The Crusher. Big Croaker. Sudden Chomper. That's true. Skull Step is such a good name for the little skulls that just run along. Fire whir. Poor zombie dragons. Night Spirit, Outer Wall Flutterer. Photosynthetic Warrior is one of my favorite of these. You're out? Thanks for hanging out, Darren. Have a good one. Buttes, that's what the little cherubim are called. Zombie dragons made me so sad. Yeah, it's like, oh man, oh this sucks. Muscle Doctor. My photosynthetic warriors, attack this boo-boo bear. Seal this boo-boo bear within the earth. Fucked up that Joe Biden did that. A very short-lived recovery of Sue and Ito there. Yeah, that was pretty good, and I don't think that took, even with the hell run. God, I love Misery getting to stand there and brood. Being human's overrated? Exactly. Cursed to forever be a fairy. I'm sure she'll live with it. So is Curly, apparently. But yeah, we get to see Misery looking out. I like how Misery gets taller when her curse is lifted. And now she's small again. Yeah, we got basically full check completion. 66 of 68, and I think that the two that I didn't get count the nothing chests that I skipped over on second passes, or maybe one at least. Being human is highly overrated. Yeah. Let me take my screenshot of that. Let me stretch. And let's go to our end card to wrap up. Let me see. I made that button. This button to do that. I didn't get to deploy that during the stream. I forgot I added that button. Let's wait, can I? I'm down here now. Big, exactly. Bye bye, Rach. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, even if you missed most of it. I appreciate it nonetheless. Let me. Ooh, that's an interesting angle. Thank you so much for coming out to hang out with me in my cave story randomizer adventures. I appreciate y'all. I have not got the schedule for the... Hey, makes me look imposing? Good. I'm glad. Exactly. Working as intended. Good bug. I like the duck just spinning its way across my... across me there. I haven't worked out my schedule for the coming week yet. Loot bug fell out of the chair. Yeah, sorry, it's gonna happen. Haven't yet figured out my schedule for the coming week. If I had, I would show it off, but... I'll post that in the usual places, which I will advertise now while I'm thinking about it. You can find me all sorts of places on the internet, on the online, including now I have set up a dedicated Stream Blue Sky account, if that's a place you care about seeing posts on the internet. And of course, you will always be able to find them in my Discord and to receive pings if you so desire whenever I go live, to be sure that you don't miss a second of my glorious presence. But yeah, for the coming week, no fixed schedule yet, but I will almost certainly be doing a Link to the Past rando again on Thursday night. That is become a fixture of my week. I will probably get around to playing Faerun, which I thought I was going to do for my weekend Saturday Sunday wildcard stream. Top-down adventure, very comfy, by the Transaruby developer. I'd love to show that off for y'all. As for what else, I haven't solidified it yet. Possibly some kind of shmup action, whether that's running back Draenus or Zero Ranger, or trying out... I want to play Einhander. Einhander is really cool. I want to give that a serious shot. I might do that before too long. Or who knows what else I'll find and decide is a good fit for the week. But once I've solidified that, I will put it in there. Einhander is super rad looking. Hell yeah, it looks incredibly cool. Wild that Square, in the midst of... in the depths of their extreme... like, that was late 90s. That was peak Square, is just banging out RPG after RPG after RPG. But they were like, hey, what if we did a shmup also? And they made a really cool shmup. Einhander is really cool. Ikaruga, the beautiful. Exactly like that. Alright, let me go see if there's someone I can raid. Probably at least one person I can raid at the moment. Who we got out here tonight to check in with? I did already click on the Discord one, yes. Just making sure. Your EP, it's getting late. I hope you can get some good rest. Let's see. Voxandra is still replaying Astlibra Revision, which I understand is a cool time. Gamma Chris is in the middle of his 1,000 follower Donathon final day, playing such banger games as Bubsy 3D and Gex Enter the Gecko. And Seahorse is getting towards the end of their own charity streams they've been doing for the week. They seem to be playing Chrono Trigger, which is also one of the games of all time. But I am going to inflict upon you... it appears that Gamma Chris is in the middle of Gex. And I can't pass that up. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate spending time with y'all. Plush dinosaur rolled over us like a Katamari. Yeah. Very fun.
Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a good rest of your time. He said unprotected Gex, so it's going well. Yeah, that sounds about like that sounds like the kind of thing that you end up saying when you're exposed to playing Gex. That's just how it is. Thank you all very much for coming around. I'll see you all again before too long. Take care and have a good rest of your time zone. Say hi to Chris for me if you like. And yeah, we'll catch up again before too long, I'm sure. Take care, y'all. See you all around.
What's going